All right, welcome back. Hey,
Hello,
Felix.
hello. How you going?
What's up?
How's it going?
What are we doing here?
It's AMA today. So we're here to answer, your questions about cybersecurity, your ledger device. If you have any questions regarding that, and drop them in the chat. We'll have someone potentially answer any questions or repeat them out to us, and then we'll try to answer them as well. Just a couple things to go through really quickly. We say this every time, don't give out your 24 words. We'll never ask you, we'll never DM you. So it's something we say every time. And don't sign any transactions you don't trust, I think is the other thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start. So the first question is from Jake Elite. Jake Elite. Should I use a passphrase, and does that give me more security from the already impossible chances of my seed phrase being brute forced?
It's a really good way of putting it, right? Because it's already known impossible, and adding a passphrase on top is another layer of that. But that does depend on the passphrase that you choose as well.
Yes.
Because if you choose the passphrase A, it's going to be relatively easy if you already had the recovery phrase to brute force just the passphrase.
Yeah, exactly.
But in saying that, it does offer the security of the classic wrench attack, if the plausible deniability.
Yeah.
That's the I think the big one for me in particular.
Yeah, definitely. You want a passphrase that's not too long and too complicated that you can still memorize it, I think, but still long enough that it's secure and that someone can't just brute force it or like guess it. And also like when you like don't keep your passphrase and your recovery phrase in the same place, right? So like for example, if you keep your passphrase in your recovery phrase on a piece of paper, just don't write the passphrase on the other side of the piece of paper, right? That would defeat the purpose.
Definitely don't keep it with your device either.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, cool. Next, we've got Lynn Casey. Hello, my friend gave me an invite code, so we both get $10 of free Bitcoin, but when I select bundles to get backup pack, this promotion does not work. Why?
If I remember correctly, there are specific products that the codes are used for. If I invite codes,
Maybe it doesn't apply to bundles, right?
Yeah,
That-
it doesn't apply to bundles.
It does not apply to bundles. Okay.
got one of our colleagues off screen if you didn't notice, and they'll potentially be shooting you some articles as well. But yes, no, it does not apply to bundles.
Okay, great. So yeah, it does not apply to bundles. Gary Chen, does Ledger has retail store in Hong Kong?
We do not.
We don't.
That would be fun.
We don't. Okay.
I mean, at least
Yeah.
in terms of an official store. If we're talking about reseller, I am not 100%.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that non-official resellers aren't a good place to buy them.
Yeah.
Because your device is going to be have a genuine check, and it's going to check that it hasn't been tampered with both the software and the hardware. So if that's the specific issue that you're thinking about, yes, that's been accounted for, and you can purchase from potentially any place as long as you get Ledger Live from our domain ledger.com, and then we can perform that check as well.
Yeah, and maybe we can share in the chat like the list of all retailers. So there might be one in Hong Kong or like closer to you, and it's perfectly safe to buy from retailers, right? Those devices are manufactured in France and they're safe. They're just like normal Ledger devices you would get from the website. So yeah. Okay, next we've got Utility King 32. Can you use multiple Ledger devices on one Ledger account? I think there is some misconception we have to clear here. What do you think?
You definitely can. Now, it's just about, in this case, so if you've got account A that's derived from recovery phrase A, and the two devices both have recovery phrase A, then they'll both manage the same account. When you sign transactions, they're signing for that same account. So you definitely can use multiple devices. I think the misconception maybe would be that each device would correspond to a specific account, and therefore you can either have managing the same account, or they can't. A same device can actually manage multiple accounts if you either create an account, or this would be wildly inconvenient, but you could change the recovery phrase each time you use on a single device as well.
You could. Yeah.
So even with the same instance of Ledger Live, So there are many possibilities. So just depends on which recovery phrase corresponds to which account.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we do have a video on this very YouTube channel that shows like how to manage multiple Ledger devices with one instance of Ledger Live. So you might want to check that out. Yeah, but it's totally possible. Make sure to label, like if you use multiple devices with one instance of Ledger Live, make sure that you label your device, each account as well, just to reflect like which device is controlling which account. Otherwise, it can get a little messy, right? So for example, you could have a label that says Bitcoin account Nano S plus Bitcoin account Nano X or whatever. Okay, next, MG. I have a big problem. I can't transfer my DBC to my ledger. I did everything you wrote. The only thing you did not explain is, should we put the check mark on the Neo, on the Nano? Should we put the check mark on the Neo or Neo N3 side? If you check the N3 check mark, the address does not appear and cannot be confirmed. I'm not sure what we're talking about here.
DBC.
So MG, could you possibly like share the link to the coin you're talking about so we can get more context? If it's Neo, I do think we have documentation in the App Center on how to manage Neo. So you would go to support.ledger.com and type Neo, and there's a bunch of articles. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about here. Yeah, so just let us know, please. Okay, Gary Chen is back. Where can I purchase a secure ledger in Hong Kong? So,
yeah, hopefully we'll have the the Help Center article with all the potential resellers as well, retailers and everything like that. So you can definitely check that out. Hopefully you pop through that. I can see that in the chat there.
Oh, you got the questions here.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So the next question is from Wild Blue. Hello. Can Ledger prevent U.S. citizens from earning staking rewards if the U.S. government passes this law?
Yeah. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I heard about this, but not in the details exactly. First, I don't think it's a fact.
No,
not yet. So,
but in terms of what we, I think, to speak generally, I would imagine we would have to comply with whatever local laws and regulations. That being said, if you are interacting with a decentralized, a smart contract, let's say, very specifically, there shouldn't be anything that someone can do to, generally speaking, to prevent someone from interacting with that contract. So it's a big question. There's a lot of factors, because if you're staking, let's say, let's go with the big ones. If you're staking with a centralized exchange, that's definitely something that they'll have to consider. If it's something like, let's say, a decentralized smart contract, there shouldn't be generally anyway, unless it's something on the front end, a la like T-Cash situation, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, there are some decentralized options, like Lido, for example, is one, Rocket Pool as well. And realistically, even if one provider will get censored in a way, then you can always find like that protocol will be forked by a team to turn it into like, it will be forked into a decentralized version of the same protocol. So that's the beauty of blockchain as well. So there'll always be an option for you to get staking rewards. You don't have to go through Ledger Live. Again, Ledger Live is just an app that makes it like sort of centralize a series of services that we provide, right? Some of them are from Ledger directly, some are from third parties, right? But you don't have to use Ledger Live necessarily, right? You can access staking services via different providers, different apps, and those will always exist. I think, governments will never be able to censor everything. And that's the beauty of decentralization, right? As long as you have control of your assets, you have your private keys in the form of your recovery phrase. As long as you keep this, then you'll be able to stake wherever you are. Yep. Okay, tons of questions here. Trend XBT, do you have plans to add support for shielded Zcash accounts? This would allow users to store their Zcash privately. Do we have plans? Vague plans, I think, but like no roadmap yet.
I think it's definitely a big pain point that I know that I've definitely passed on, and it's the kind of thing, we have to, we definitely have to provide that for you guys. But we pass on the feedback as best we can, and we'll definitely make sure that that's something that they know that you guys are after, because
because I do think Trezor has a roadmap, right, for integrating Zcash shielded addresses. So I think we should also step up our game here and do it. But yeah, we'll make sure to escalate. That's good feedback. Okay, so MG is back. It's on the Neo wallet. So he was talking about the Neo wallet. I have to confess, I'm not super familiar with Neo. I don't think I've ever used it.
It might be something we'd have to double check and test ourselves because it's not something that it's been a while actually since I've interacted with that coin.
Yeah, me too. Well, so I guess MG, someone will send you the link to the help center, and the best thing you can do is just send us an email and explain your issue exactly. Add screenshots if you can, so just explain everything so we can help you. An agent will get back to you. I
always say more information is always better. Even if you don't think it's relevant, sometimes we can try to imply things out of that. So from our help center, you should be able to get a hold of us. And we'll try to help you out with that one.
So we'll post that in the chat in a second. Next we'll have Hashem is asking, can I have 2 ledgers for the same Ethereum account?
Indeed, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same thing. As long as the recovery phrases are the same, they can manage the same account. So you're all good to go from there. Definitely possible.
Yeah, you could have the same private keys in as many devices as you want if you want to, right? In 10 devices or even more.
Yeah, I think, that'd be an interesting thing to test out and because there's no limitations to how many you can.
No,
but what would the point be?
What's the point? Yeah,
it's an interesting question.
So usually, as is like, if we can help here, it's good to have a backup device. I think definitely. So you have the same recovery phrase in both devices. So if one device gets lost or damaged or whatever, you lose access to it, then you can you still have access to your accounts via the second device, and then you can get a new device to have a new backup, right? So that's how it works, and that's the best setup you can get. Again, the device is not as important as the recovery phrase, right? So I think that's a concept that you guys need to. That's one of the most important concepts. I think that's not always obvious to everyone, but the recovery phrase are your private keys, right? And your private keys are more important than the device. Devices, they break sometimes, you can lose them, but as long as you have your private keys, you will be able to recover your accounts in any new device. So just keep that in mind.
I think one thing to mention as well is that each recovery phrase isn't specific to the device as well. So like when you get the device for the first time, it might seem like it's very specific for the device because it's like, hey, here is your recovery phrase.
Yes.
But also, if I instantly got the full recovery phrase and went over and put it into another one, you'd be good to go. It's there's no trouble with that at all. So
yeah, I really dislike the term recovery phrase. For me, it just doesn't explain what this is very well.
One of our colleagues, Pablo, mentioned something really funny that when you get the recovery phrase, do you create it or do you discover it? Yeah, and I love that because technically the entropy for that, like the randomness there already exists, right? And you just have to go and get it. So it's a really interesting math problem or
it's almost a philosophical question. Yeah. I think you discover it, right? Because they already exist in the mathematical realm. You just have, you just stumble upon that particular
state of
exactly. But maybe a good topic for a different name. Okay, great. So next we've got Sell Commerce Pay. My Nero wallet is not connecting if I reveal my wallet's address. It does not look like a complete question. Sel, if you could if you could retype the question with more details, maybe, because it's not clear exactly. I don't know if you understand the question.
I think he mentions below that he can't send or stake the NIA, but in considering the initial that your wallet isn't connecting, I think that's the first hurdle, that thing we'd want to troubleshoot. So the way I think about it always is just to isolate the issue. Okay, it's not connecting. Is it because of a USB hardware issue? Would it be that maybe it's just that I haven't unlocked the PIN? Is there any specific error message that you're getting that might be able to help redirect you to a specific help center article as well? those are the kinds of things that I instantly, when I have chats with friends or customers, that's kind of the line of questioning that I think about. So yeah, if you have more information, definitely let us know, and we can probably try and answer that as well.
Okay. So MG is asking on the explanation on Ledger. Okay, so he's gonna check the help center, I'm guessing. So yeah, MG, again, it's support.ledger.com. You should have received the link in the chat. Yeah, send us an email. You can also look up your issue. In the help center has tons of articles and documentation about not everything, but like a lot of third-party wallets, including Neo. So yeah, check that out. Next, we've got Leo Half. Hello, when will the Nano X updates with the new interface be released? I did not know that was public information.
We wouldn't necessarily know the exact timeline either, to be honest. But I mean, updates are always coming for all devices. For all, especially the Nano X. So no timeline, unfortunately.
No timeline. Follow us on Twitter. That's usually where we post updates. Okay, new stuff. That will be Ledger_support. Don't get scammed. Again, like Ledger, very dangerous place. Tons of fake accounts. Some of them are faking our gold check mark.
Yeah.
They replace it with a little sun emoji, so be careful.
It's really cheeky.
Yeah. So do follow us on Twitter. Okay. Ledger_support. And yeah, stay tuned. Okay, next, Natalia Taylor. Hey, Natalia. How do you determine the providers listed on Ledger for buying and selling? Interesting question.
There is a tab on the left-hand side just that has the general providers. Because it does depend on your location as well. So some providers are just not available for, I think a big one would be like the US, for example, has some restrictions in terms of that. So like there are specific providers. So there's no like outright list for all of them for the whole world or anything like that. Yeah. But when you jump in, you should be able to see those as well. The other place that I normally go to would be the Discover section.
Underused.
Because I think especially someone was definitely asking me personally about like the dollar cost averaging in particular, and you can do that with that was an anime that can do that with Bitcoin specifically. So stacking sats. Yeah, I always get them confused. But, you can definitely use that. Binance is on there as well, so there are definitely options.
Yeah. And so Natalia, if you want to post, just tell us which coins you'd be interested in buying or selling, that we can give you like more details and maybe recommend like specific apps within Ledger Live or outside Ledger Live if the option is not available there.
It also can depend what you're buying with as well, right? So if you're buying with cryptocurrency, with stable coins, let's say, it could depend on that as well. So
that
just something to keep in mind.
Okay, cool. Next, Oliveira. It's a question in Spanish. So he or she said that they bought I don't know if I can read that. I'm sorry. Like I tried, but I don't understand the question.
I don't speak.
Yeah, if you could translate the question maybe and post it into the chat in English, we'll be very, very happy to help you out. We don't speak that language. Fortunately, I do think it's Portuguese. Okay, next, Trends XBT is asking, support for shielded Zcash is crucial as there is currently a bug in Ledger preventing users from spending funds received from the shielded pool, internal error.
6F01.
Yes,
that's something. Yeah, there's definitely, there's the help center article for that, but I'm sure you're aware of that already, as you've already pointed it out. It's a big pain point, and it's something that, we will always pass it on because you guys talk to us and you pass it on to the devs, and that's the point of Zcash, to be able to hold it privately as well. So we do understand its significance for sure.
If I had, no, for sure. So we're working on it. The developers, there is developer bandwidth on that issue. I think they know. So, okay, next, Tommy Bro. After every time I deposit BTC to my ledger and want to send again, it get the problem. I need to reinstall my ledger with all the passphrases. That's kind of annoying. Any idea why that is?
Would you happen to So it's interesting that it's so if you deposit, is it only specifically after you deposit BTC, or is it just in general when you reset the, like, we close and reopen the app? Potentially, my next things that I think about would be, what OS are you using? Are you an admin on the computer? Just more general things like that, just for now, just based on what you've mentioned to me. Those are the first things that comes to mind. But it definitely would be annoying. But is it your Ledger device, that's resetting, or is it Ledger Live where you have to re-add the accounts? Because those are two different things. If the Ledger resets, normally it can potentially reset if it thinks it's under attack, right? So if you're trying to get the recovery phrase from it, it's going to be a big thing. So something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, so maybe Tommy, if you could just clarify what happens exactly. Is it the device that resets? Is it Ledger Live? Is the app disappearing from the device and you have to reinstall it? Like, just a little more clarification of what happens, because the solution might be different. Of course, if the device is broken, we'll replace it, of course, but like just a few more information might help. MG, I did all but nothing works. I did send an email, no answer. Okay, MG, if you have a ticket number, then please post it into the chat so we can pick that up, and then we'll get back to you after the AMA, and an agent will help you out through the steps. And so MG is also saying, like, I did all that with the link. You have to explain better if we log on Neo wallet, and okay, but the button on Neo don't work. I think the Neo article might be out of date as well, because Neo is not like used a lot by agents in their work. There aren't a lot of users, so I think it's possible the documentation is out of date, in which case definitely please drop the ticket number that you got by email when you submitted the tickets, so we can get back to you and potentially update the documentation as well.
100%.
Okay, Don Giovanni, hi, if I reset my Nano X, my ETH address will remain the same, or will I lose the address and the recovery phrase?
So my first question there is if you have the recovery phrase recorded elsewhere. Because if the recovery phrase is just on the device and you don't have it like written down somewhere, I hope you haven't like put it on the cloud service or anything, but you've written it down and it's somewhere else, you can always restore it to whatever compatible wallet there might be. In the not so good scenario where the recovery phrase is only on the device and you lost the recovery phrase leaflet or something like that, if you reset it, yes, that the recovery phrase would be the only way to gain access to the private keys to access an ETH address. So just depends on what might be happening there in particular.
Cool. David Matula, when MetaMask Mobile integration with Ledger?
Yeah, this is because I think there was an article on that one, and they were supposed to be released. I think it was like it mentioned the end of this year or something.
I think it did, yeah.
But my understanding, and I am not on that side specifically, is that the integration should be waiting on the MetaMask side, but I'm not 100% sure. So, but it is something we really want to have, right?
Yes, I want it personally.
Oh yeah.
I would use the S out of that, for sure.
100%.
Yeah, so definitely something that's happening with David. Stay tuned. Again, follow us on Twitter for this kind of questions, when feature XYZ. It's always good to follow us on Twitter. That's where you'll get the freshest information. Ledger_support. Again, Ledger_support. Next, we've got Milyenko Karan. Greetings. Hey, why does it say native SegWit next to my BTC wallet on Ledger Nano Plus? Is that all right?
It is indeed all right, but I think it's a bit of history lesson, right? Because initially there was the legacy for Bitcoin, and you had SegWit, and then native SegWit. I think you might see it if you go back and add the accounts. It'll show all the different types of potential accounts that you can add. The latest one is going to be Taproot. Yep. If you will notice as well, the addresses will have different prefixes, so it's a good way to notice what kind of address you might be sending to and from. Totally okay. Don't worry about that at all. It's just
The type of account.
Type of
Yeah,
account.
the type of account, yeah. Yeah, because I think Ledger Live will by default create a native SegWit account, right? BC1.
It is the one that's the most commonly used, because I don't know with regards to Taproot if there's as much.
More and more now with
More?
ordinals.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Maybe not in Ledger Live, but I do think with the whole NFT on Bitcoin ordinals craze, like people are using Taproot much more,
Yeah.
which is great.
Fun.
Yeah. We'll talk about ordinals at some point as well, guys, because all right, sell Comrade Pay. Hey guys, yes guys, their message is when I want to send or want to stake byte array longer than desired. Thank you guys, you're really helpful. I'll have to scroll back up.
Near.
Yeah, the near might be a bug.
That's definitely something that I would get a hold of us for, because we'd you know what, because this is the kind of thing we're like, hey, if we don't experience it, we want to know it straight away. Get a hold of us. Hopefully we can. We normally would ask you to get the logs as well, because it not only allows us to like replicate the issues on our end, but it might have additional information. So don't put it in the chat or anything, but get a hold of us, support.ledger.com, raise a case, pop it in the chat even if you can, and mention the error message. And if you have the logs, which there is an article for as well, you can we can have a look at that for you, because we'd want to fix that ASAP. So
Yeah, logs definitely useful. You can save them once you see the error in Ledger Live. You can click the button and save the logs, but we'll post the link to the article as well, so you know how to do it. So, okay, Leo. Okay, thanks, Leo. We've got Gok Turk for life. Hi, I have a Ledger Blue, and you can't get any updates on Ledger Live. Any suggestion?
get a hold of us for that one.
Yes, I would say replacement, probably. Yeah, guys. I know there's a lot of emotional attachment to Ledger Blue, but realistically, we have this replacement program where we'll swap your Ledger Blue for a Nano S Plus, right, and Nano X.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good deal. You'll get 2 devices that can do everything the Ledger Blue can do and more. Yeah.
You have that backup as well. You have that, what do you call it? Extra.
Yeah, extra device, extra backup. Yeah, it's always better. I would say do it. It's a good deal, and yeah. Okay. Oh my god. All right. So tons of questions. ADZ ledger for multiple MetaMask wallets.
You can do that. Definitely. I think the other thing, we're just going to turn on the light, but I think the other thing that you can do as well in particular is if you're talking about multiple wallets within the same instance of MetaMask or within multiple instances, let's say 2 different computers, both are possible. You can manage the same accounts or different accounts as well. So it's just up to you what you do. It just wouldn't make much sense to manage them both at the same time with the same device necessarily, but yeah, definitely can do multiple MetaMask wallets as well, for sure.
Gamer riffs, do you keep track of people's IP addresses and coin addresses? No, we don't.
Ledger Live would, but that's on your computer specifically,
yeah.
so it's not something that we would know. I do know that, if you go to the terms of service, it might mention it, but that's going to be something that we provide for the service providers that you use, right? So like, if you want to swap with Changelly or Coinify or something like that, that's the reason we'd want to give it to them in particular, so that we get the coins to you in particular.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Natalia. So Natalia is actually interested in being a provider, so buy and sell provider. How would I get approved to be listed as a third-party provider? That's a good question. You'll have to get in touch for sure. Well, you can start with a ticket. Okay, so you can reach out to support.ledger.com, explain in your ticket what you want to do, and you'll get an email with a 6-digit number. That's your ticket ID. Drop that in the chat so we can pick it up, and we'll get back to you and we'll connect you with the right people to make that happen.
Got that case number, MG, so we'll get back to you with that one.
Perfect. Tommy Bro, after BTC only, all other coins I can send and receive. It says the passphrase is wrong, so I'll have to manually reset and put in the passphrase. Okay, so that's a device that's probably malfunctioning. I think if it resets automatically after sending a transaction, I would say Tommy, just definitely get in touch. Send us a ticket, support.ledger.com, and explain the issue, and then an agent will take it from there. Because that doesn't sound like the normal behavior. Like the device shouldn't reset every single time you use it. So yeah, do get in touch, support.ledger.com, tell me. Don Giovanni, hi, if I reset my Nano with X, my ETH address will remain the same, or will I lose the address and the recovery phrase?
I think we did answer that one, Don.
Yeah.
But yes, if same recovery phrase, same address, just need to restore it with the same recovery phrase, then you're all good.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So share the case number. Let's make sure we've got the case number. Liam, apologies if I get asked a lot, but will XDC ever go on Ledger Live?
We know you guys are passionate. When will it? I can't say. But yes, we know you guys are asking for it for sure.
For now, Liam, you can create a Ledger XDC account via a third-party wallet called MyTheWallet. It's perfectly safe. There is an article in the Help Center actually that explains how to do it. Eventually, it will be in Ledger Live, like most chains, obviously. But yeah, it takes time. It takes time to integrate things. Gary, just order stacks. Thank you. I transferred for my...
So I read this question.
Oh, you read that? Okay.
Yeah, so...
Go for it.
He wants to transfer your, I think you mean Roth IRA, because that is an American, I think pension or something like that, to the Stacks wallet, and then use another Ledger wallet for purchasing Bitcoin, keep the majority in Stacks. First thing would be you wouldn't be able to put traditional financial derivatives into a hardware, like a cryptocurrency wallet. What the cryptocurrency wallet essentially does is it keeps the recovery phrase. I don't know of any tokenized assets yet, especially in a space that for like retirement funds and things like that, like the Roth. So if you hold maybe a derivative of Bitcoin, you might have to get it delivered to you on chain. I don't, off the top of my head, I'm not sure of any in particular, and I wouldn't recommend any personally because it's not, that would be more getting on financial advice. But no traditional finance instruments on the Ledger device. It's just for cryptocurrency assets. So if you do Bitcoin, you put it on the Stacks for sure. You can actually put lots of different cryptocurrency assets on the device itself. What is essentially being stored isn't on the Stacks, but it's the recovery phrase, and the recovery phrase can make lots of accounts for different currencies.
Perfect. So we've got Don Giovanni and MG thanking us. Thank you guys for coming to the MA. We always appreciate the questions. Sophie Terrell, is it possible to get another set of words if we have messed up with the first one? Yes.
It's totally fine.
Totally.
I think there's two scenarios, I think, quickly. The first one is if you're halfway through the setup, don't worry about the first set of words if you just went halfway through. If you've gone all the way through and then you accidentally reset it or something like that, also totally fine. Just set it up as new and you'll get different words that have no relation to the old one.
Cool. Next, Andreas. Hello. How long will you support the Ledger Nano S with new software updates? Are there any plans to discontinue the Nano S support sometimes in the future? Interesting question. I don't think there is a plan to discontinue support, so it will be compatible with Ledger Live. However, we do strongly recommend that eventually, you think of, getting a Nano S Plus. Honestly, it's worth it. I was a long time Nano S user myself. Like I bought my first one in 2017, loved the device, but then I upgraded to Nano S Plus. I can tell you it's much better. I like it much better. But we don't plan on discontinuing support for Nano S, so you will be working. And again, as long as you have your recovery phrase, then you're good, right? The device doesn't really matter. But yeah, I would say it's worth getting a Nano S Plus as your next device, right?
I think it's also a really big thing for people that have lots and lots of different assets across many chains, because installing and uninstalling apps isn't the most convenient. So definitely worth doing. I was also the same. So
yeah, you can install tons of different apps with the Nano S Plus, and you get a bigger screen. The buttons are better. I mean, it's just a better device, right? It's just as secure, but the user experience is much better. So recommend it. Okay, so Soiko, there is no proper tutorial from Ledger on how to run SatStack and connect to self-hosted node like Umbro. Yes, there is one, but
It's
not
as
great. Yeah.
I think maybe definitely will, because we also got this feedback recently as well. I think maybe the other thing, if you're really having trouble as well, the devs are on Discord. You can jump on Discord. You can either, you should be able to either Google the Discord link, or we might be able to try and pop it into chat if we can get it.
The Discord link will be Ledger Open, right? With a 3
title.
Yeah.
But it's a really that would be a way to get really in touch with those guys that implemented that as well.
Cool.
Yeah, it is one of a more niche feature. I think that maybe the documentation was written with a very technical mindset, or they just were like, okay, I got it.
Lots of assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, again, like Discord would be, you just go on Google and you type Ledger Open, but the E in Open is the number 3. We'll drop the link.
I want to say this name. Badonkadonk.
Yeah, go for it.
Badonkadonk asks.
Badonkadonk.
I loved saying that. Will the stacks have color? It will not. It was, you know what? When I first thought about it, I was worried about the stacks not having color, but I think the gradation in color, so the number of different shades that they can have in gray, was actually way better than I thought it could be compared to what I had imagined the e-ink screen would be. So I wouldn't worry about color. It also would make it vastly more expensive as well. So that's why I think we wanted to stick with exactly what you need, which was the black and white, and it does have touchscreen as well. So that was exactly that, no color.
Got it. Okay. Then we've got a question from Romatula. He's not able to validate a Terra transaction, like the ledger is asking him, prompting him with a 1 out of 2 screen. I think you just have to scroll through the different screen, using the right button until you see a message on the screen that says accept and send, or sign, or probably accept and send, I think. And then you use both buttons at the same time to just confirm the transaction, and that will broadcast the transaction onto the network. Do you want to do one question each, actually?
Yeah, sure. Next one is by Knife and Compass. Looking at another wallet, should I do a Ledger Nano X or wait for the stacks, in my opinion? If you already have a wallet, probably it depends on what your preferences are personally, right? Because they both have wireless functionality in terms of like Bluetooth. With the stacks, it's obviously newer, so it has Qi wireless charging as well, and it's obviously got the screen. If you're probably more of an NFT buff, I might consider the stacks more appealing to you. With the Ledger Nano X, you also get more of the feeling that it's more under the radar, right? It looks, people call it a USB drive all the time, so it's probably about what your preferences are and like what in terms of features that you prefer.
All right. Then we've got Dreamer, Ledger. So he translated from Portuguese from a previous message. So she bought a wallet. She bought a wallet from you and didn't arrive. How do I resolve this? Okay, great. So you can send us an email via our help center. So that's support.ledger.com. We'll drop the link in the description, in the chat, sorry. So again, support.ledger.com. Just send us an email or chat with a live agent. We'll get back to you and we'll help you fix the issue.
And then we've got Tommy Bro. Okay, we'll do that. Thanks. I don't remember
if it was.
Yeah.
And then we've got Peter Ramirez. Will we get a Ledger device at our Redemption Center appointment? Redemption Center appointment. That doesn't sound familiar.
If you're talking maybe about will I get
like a PO box or something?
No, I'm thinking about the Ledger Redemption NFTs for maybe that's the only thing that says redemption in my head.
Peter, be careful. Okay, so there's 2 scenarios here. Either that's a valid request, but you're not using the correct technical term here so we don't know what you're talking about exactly, or this is a scam attempt. And someone is trying to trick you into going to a certain place and to do a certain thing. So I would be careful. could you potentially send us an email, support.ledger.com, and just send us a copy of the email that you got or the request, just to be on the safe side, because I can't think of what this should be about.
The only thing I can think of is like if the black on black redemption NFT, the just stacks NFT redemption. This is the only thing I can think of that has the word redemption. But of course, like you might be meaning something. If it's anything to do with physical presence, about getting you somewhere to get a device or to redeem a device, it's not something that we would do.
Be careful.
But if it's to redeem the device online, on our website in particular, then that's probably more what I was thinking of on track. So
I was alarmed by the word appointment here.
I'd like to hope it's not something that harms you, that puts you in physical danger. We definitely don't want that, so definitely be careful.
Again, Peter, get in touch, just to be on the safe side, right? Get in touch, support.ledger.com. We'll drop the link here. Send us a copy or a screenshot of whatever disappointment was, so we can double check that it's indeed legit and safe, right? Tommy, sorry.
And I think it was James on 215. When can we stake HBAR hashpack using Ledger? Oh yes, we can, because it's not, because I always think about that as in within Ledger Live only. But yes, it is something. We'll have a helps in an article for that one actually, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it's actually live.
Yeah,
so, it's actually live.
You can jump on there. Hopefully, we can get that into the chat as well, and so you can look through that. So with HBAR staking as well. Yes.
Yeah, and the title is Staking HBAR with hashback. We'll drop that in the chat. Okay, so Gorturk for life. Any links for Ledger Blue replacement? No, there is no link direct. Like you just have to send us an email. So that's support.ledger.com, and then an agent will help you through the process.
Next would be James. Is Ledger Live safe being on a cell phone I use every day? One thing to mention, Ledger Live doesn't have any private keys or personal information, so perfectly safe to use. I mean, I've got it. I've actually got, it on my phone every day. I've got it on weird other phones that I'm not using anymore, but that's doesn't matter because they might be able to see my address, but that's public on the blockchain anyway, right? So the only thing that I might be worrying about, just to really stretch it, would be someone sees you have like 20 BTC and they want to get at you. So that's the only thing. Hopefully not, but the only thing I can think of.
I'll let you take the next one because I know you like pronouncing this word.
Which
Badonkadonk.
Badonkadonk. Thanks for the reply. No worries at all. Love the name. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, go for it.
Scott Gardner mentions, will Ledger be integrating more staking features for a range of different cryptocurrencies along its journey? Yes. We always will be trying to integrate more, definitely. I think it's also good to note that you don't necessarily need to use Ledger Live to stake if you do want to head outside of the little garden there in particular. But definitely we're always trying to integrate as much as we can. You can always check the Discover section potentially if there's anything there, or that we definitely will be shouting out from the rooftops about new staking features in the accounts tabs and stuff like that. So yeah.
Sounds good. So Bob Game says that he ordered his device, but then it was forbidden at customs and they took it and he lost money. So I would say do get in touch and we'll see if we can do something for you here. Maybe get you a new device at a different address, or find a way to compensate for that. It would also help to tell us where you live. You don't have to drop that information in the chat, but when you get in touch with us via email, just let us know which country you're talking about, so we know, because that could be very important information for us. So Bob, again, support.ledger.com. Send us an email, explain the situation. We'll see if we can do something for you here.
Peter Ramirez mentions foreign currency exchange. I don't see.
I forgot
Peter Ramirez. When will this was about the Ledger Redemption Center appointment. Foreign currency exchange. This is sounding very sketchy.
Very sketchy.
I would be worried. These are showing ringing red flags for me, for sure.
Yes.
Forex also very very, very hectic industry.
Yes,
well,
yes.
so-
Don't show up, man. Just don't take the risk. Okay, just stay home. Don't go anywhere, and get in touch again. Ok, so I'm gonna skip the question in French. Désolé, je voulais savoir si c'était possible de regarder vos vidéos avec traduction car je suis vraiment intéressé par votre travail. Oui, on va avoir des vidéos en français aussi. Il y en a qui sont en train d'être réalisées. Et ouais, on va produire plus de vidéos en français bientôt.
Je n'ai pas français. Okay. Peter Ramirez, thanks. Yep. Cool. And then we have Chinali. Hello guys, any update on hashback support with Ledger, tokens, swapping, and dApps? So you mentioned...
Yeah, I think it's all supported. I mean, like, staking is definitely supported. Tokens are supported, dApps as well. dApps I don't know, I've never tried. Actually, I've never tried swapping in dApps, but I suppose it's supported as well. Try it out. Try it out. It's safe. It's completely safe to connect your Ledger device to hashback. So, just play around with the app and see what you can do with it. You can definitely stake though. I did myself like a couple of days ago. If you're interested in staking, just go on the Help Center and look for an article called Staking HBAR with hashback. Felix, how much more time do you have? I know you've got a hard stop, right?
We'll see if we can answer more questions. Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Okay.
But yes, we should be finishing up pretty soon. We got Andreas here, Andreas Ebert. Thanks for the answer with the Ledger Nano S. I definitely will consider buying. For me, it was the screen as well.
Yeah.
Size. That's a big one.
Okay, and then we've got Mr. Drunken Badger. that's pretty cool. Any plans on supporting XDC and Ledger Live? Damn, okay. Yes, I mean,
Thanks.
eventually plans. Fuzzy plans, like nothing, no roadmap, right, currently. So that will be something that I suspect we'll eventually do, but we cannot give you an ETA or a delivery date or anything like that, fortunately. But eventually that's something that will be in Ledger Live, yes. Do you want to take the last one?
I can't really. It's all right. It's Bob Games. Thank you, guys. It's all right. It's been a while, and I didn't get any positive response from support, and that's fine. Really, I should have looked more into ordering. Maybe it's my mistake. I don't. And this
don't
is
think
the.
so.
This is with ordering with the customs, isn't it? Or is it? Or is it any positive response from support? Bob Games. What was it? Sorry, mate. Yeah, customs. Yeah, it's really tough. Sometimes, like governments are really.
Yeah.
Sassy.
Yeah.
I don't like them. So yeah, it's get a hold of us. We'll see what can happen. So
Cool. All right, guys, we gotta wrap it up because we're gonna get kicked out of the room. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow on Twitter, 5 p.m. CT, if you wanna catch us there. And we'll have to go. So guys, thank you so much and stay safe. Don't share your recovery phrase.